Today we are working Psalm 62. In traditional psalm magic, we use Psalm 62 frequently to change luck for the better, for strengthening our spiritual values, for forgiveness of past wrongs, and to receive blessings. And today I'm going to work Psalm 62 to have an unshakable life. We've done recently, I think it was Psalm 57, we did a shield of protection. So we're going to work Psalm 62 so we don't need the shield of protection anymore. We don't need protection spells. We are actually building within ourselves an unshakable life. We are building our spiritual house, so to speak, on a rock. The way we work psalm magic is simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm in question and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. After we finish that incantation, we go back through the psalm and we consider each verse one at a time. We search for the meanings that hide behind the words. Those we call magic seeds. And when we do this work, where we search for, we dig for, and find those meanings, and we try to apply them to the best of our ability to the situation that we brought to the psalm, we are shaking loose the perfect seeds of magic for our spell, and allowing them to be planted within the depths of our minds. And that is fertile ground. And so therefore those magic seeds begin to take root, they grow, and then they blossom forth after their kind. And that's precisely what you and I are going to do right now with Psalm 62. Truly my soul waiteth upon God. From him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you. As a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Selah. My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In God is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Selah. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. God hath spoken once, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto God. Also unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy, for thou renderest to every man according to his work. Our first task when working psalm magic is orienting our minds to the power that we are addressing in the psalm. And in this case, it's calling upon God. And in the King James Version, God is a direct translation from the Hebrew Elohim, which is the host of heaven. It's a collective. It's a singular plurality. For us, it's a symbol for the one power, the one source, the one substance in all the universe. There is but one, and there is nothing that can oppose it. And since there is but one and nothing can oppose it, when that force is for us, nothing can oppose us, and our success is assured. And this force is for us, and our psalm magic is quite powerful because we recognize this. It starts out with, Truly my soul waiteth upon God, from him cometh my salvation. The soul in the Psalms actually means the deep mind. And when we recognize that our deep mind is the creative power in our lives, whatever is held in our deep mind is reflected on the screen of space. When our soul is waiting upon this force, in other words, we are asking that this force inform our soul, we're waiting for instruction from this force, then the reflections on the screen of space will be godly reflections. From him cometh my salvation. Salvation is the solving of the problem, whatever we brought to the psalm. Now, in our case, we want to have an unshakable life, but maybe you brought something else specifically to the psalm. So you want to bring that problem or that situation to mind and recognize that the solving of this problem comes from your connection with this force. And it doesn't matter what the problem is. There's no big, there's no small. It can be about any kind of topic. There is a solution, and the solution is available to you, and you have a right to the solution. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. It's important to understand that if this force is our defense, our being defensive is actually interfering with our defense. So we leave the defense to the infinite, and we no longer need to be defensive. And that's why our life becomes unshakable, because nothing can cause us to be defensive. When we're not defensive, we're not argumentative, we have nothing to prove, and all we get is peace, protection, prosperity, and everything working out well for us, because that is invoking the divine design or the divine pattern of our lives. He only, that means that there's only one force, and since there's only one force, we want that force to be in charge, not our ego mind, not a bunch of ideas that we keep coming up with on our own. We trust that this force knows exactly what to do, and since it's defending us, it's solving the problem, it's keeping us safe, we will not be moved. We don't have any need to change our mind about this. We understand what it is, how it's working, and that all is well with us. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain all of you. As a bowing wall shall ye be, as a tottering fence. So we are addressing the ego mind. Now, the ego mind is not an entity, and it's nothing to ever be afraid of or to interact with or to try to destroy. It's simply a habit. The only way to rid ourselves of a habit is to supplant it with a new habit. So our new habit is turning to the infinite. In the infinite, there is no ego mind because the ego mind is based on the idea of notness, of separation. The ego mind is all about what you're not. So it creates an entire world for us based upon what is not. This athame is here because it's not everything else. This book is here because it's not everything else. It's the notness that creates the forms and the things that we interact with here. And that's fine. There's nothing evil or wrong about that. But the infinite doesn't see notness because the infinite is I am. And so in the presence of I am not does not exist. It can't exist. Those things cannot coexist. So the ego is dissolved in the presence of I am. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you. As a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. All of those negative thoughts, all of the thought forms that are contributing to any of the problems that we might be bringing to the psalm are evaporated in the presence of the infinite. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Selah. Anytime the ego comes up with a hook, tempts you to come out of your peace. It tempts you to believe that something other than the infinite can help you. It tempts you to believe that there is something other than the infinite. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. The whole idea of that is for you to believe that you're anything other than you were created, which is excellent. You were created excellent. You remain excellent. You can't stop being excellent no matter what. No matter what your ego says, no matter what happens in the world, no matter what. You can never stop being excellent. But you can believe you have stopped being excellent, and you can build up forms that prove that you have stopped being excellent. But that doesn't make it so. So this is really telling us all about how our minds conspire against ourselves, and we're just no longer involved in that. This verse ends with Selah. Selah is there to remind us to stop and reflect on this verse a little bit longer than the rest of the verses. So I'll read it through one more time. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. Deep mind, you are not getting information from my surface mind about anything. You are only being informed by the infinite. And you have every right to that because it's your deep mind. You have every right to protect your deep mind from all of those negative thoughts, from all of those limiting beliefs, from all those disastrous beliefs that the ego keeps concocting for you. And you're no longer allowing such thoughts to be deposited into the depths of your mind, and therefore you no longer have those problems germinating and being given expression. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. The infinite is the only defense. It's the only rock, and anything else isn't good enough for you. Your possessions, think of them as expressions of the infinite. Your car is an expression of the infinite. Your clothing is an expression of the infinite. Your money is an expression of the infinite. Your relationships are an expression of the infinite. Your health is an expression of the infinite. Everything that you experience in the three-dimensional world is an expression of the infinite. And when you allow it to be that, then those things get tweaked. Those things get upgraded. Those things become good for you. Or they just dissolve if they aren't good for you. But instead of making up your own mind, I'm going to do this, and I want that, and I want this, and I want that, you're allowing the infinite to show you, and you're listening to that guidance. It's not to say that you're just going to sit back and eat bonbons and let the infinite do it. That's not what we're saying at all. But we are being guided. We are being coached by the infinite about what it is that we truly do want, what it is that will make us happy. We are being coached by that inner guide. And we're no longer coming up with these negative thoughts that act as negative seeds in our deep mind that bear fruit that we do not want. In God is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in God. When it says the rock of my strength, strength in the Bible is usually talking about military strength. That means that you don't have to fight the battles. The infinite's fighting them on your behalf. My salvation and my glory. Glory refers to the Shekinah, or to the substance. So all of the substance of the universe is now condensing into the forms and the experiences in your life that are going to bring you the most joy. And my refuge is in God. That means that you don't have to worry about being attacked. You don't have to worry about these problems anymore because the infinite is there for you. And if your mind is focused on the infinite, then that is what you get. But if you allow your mind to keep wandering off into its own little places, where it starts to imagine vain things, what did it say earlier? How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? That's mischief against yourself. You're not doing that anymore. You are allowing your mind to stay focused on the infinite. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour your heart before him. God is a refuge for us, Selah. So it's another Selah. It's another time to let this sink in. So you're putting all your faith in the infinite, which is not separate from you. It's within you. It's that inner peace within you. That's where the infinite lies. So trust in him at all times, ye people. And ye people are ye thoughts. So you're telling your thoughts this. We don't have to worry about anything. When we're worried, that means that we're not trusting the infinite. So we're not worried about anything. Because when we are putting our trust in the infinite, we know everything's working out for us, and therefore we're not poisoning that by worry. Pour out your heart before him. Your heart is also your deep mind. In other words, let all of the pent-up negative thinking that you have been walking around with that has been doing nothing but manifesting as unwanted experiences, let all of that be open so that the infinite can see it and cleanse it. God is a refuge for us, Selah. Again, God being the refuge, meaning protect you. You have nothing to fear. You are safe. And this is an unshakable life that you're building. So you don't have to do a bunch of protection spells. You don't have to have a bunch of protection amulets. You can, but they're not necessary because you are the protection amulet. You are abiding in perfect safety at all times. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Men here, remember, people are thoughts. So the thoughts that your ego comes up with, whether it seems like a good thought or a not so good thought, if it's thinking separately from the infinite, it's not a thought that you want. It's either vanity or a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. And that's who you are. You are lighter than vanity ultimately as a soul. So no longer do we want those thoughts that are going against who you are as a soul. You don't need to put your thumb on the scale here. Allow your soul to be weighed in the balance, and you're going to find that you are perfect as you were created. That's why we want the judgment of the infinite at all times. The infinite judges you because the infinite actually knows you better than you do. When the infinite gives its judgment of you, it says, ooh, beautiful, fabulous, perfect, love it. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. So the infinite is going to increase your wealth. The infinite is going to increase all good in your life. When it says set not your heart upon them, that means don't chase after them. Don't start to think that the manifestations are the truth. Instead, recognize that these manifestations are a given. Of course you're going to have more wealth. Of course you're going to have more good. You're going to have more health. You're going to feel safe. Things are going to work out for you because that's the infinite's will for you. The infinite wills that you be happy and successful and prosperous and all good things. So you don't have to go searching for them because then you become an idolater. If you think that the money itself is the big deal. No, the money is a gift to you from the infinite. You're entitled to a lot of it. You can have as much money as is going to make you happy. But you don't want to chase after it because when you start chasing after the results, then they start to own you. And then those blessings turn into curses because that's what the ego loves to do. Turn blessings into curses. When it says become not vain in robbery, that means you don't need to figure things out. You don't need to have a whole sort of scheme as to how you can get ahead in this life or how to be safe. That's robbery. The ego tries to convince us that life is a zero-sum game and that if you get something, somebody else has to lose. And so everything is an act of robbery from the ego's point of view because if you want something, somebody's going to have to suffer. And so that's just how it works. But that's not how the infinite sees things. That's not the truth from the infinite's point of view. You can have as much abundance as is going to make you happy, and all it does is increase the abundance in the world. It doesn't take anything from anybody else, so there's no robbery. God has spoken once, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto God. So twice have I heard this, meaning that you don't just assume you understand something. When you are working psalm magic, or even if you're just meditating, when you bring a thought into your deep mind, you recognize it and then you think again. You always think again. You don't ever assume you've got it right the first time. Thinking again is the key to spiritual enlightenment and happiness. I always think again. The power belongeth unto God. And that doesn't mean it's not yours because you're an expression of power. So that you get the power too. The power is within you. But it's not from you as an ego, as a separate identity. It's you as the expression of the fullness of power that the infinite is as you and through you. So you have every right to that power. That's your power. It's not your power personally. It's your power that is shared and that comes from the infinite through you. Also unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy, for thou renderest to every man according to his work. So mercy is the solving of a problem in psalm magic. Whatever you've brought to the psalm, this is it coming true. You wanted more money, the money is the mercy. You wanted safety, the safety is the mercy. So whatever it is that you've come to the psalm for, that is what mercy is. Unto the infinite belongs mercy. That's where it comes from, because everything comes from the infinite. For thou renderest to every man according to his work. Well, what's his work? In this case, the only work is you accepting that the infinite is your source and allowing the infinite to think through you, rather than thinking all by yourself as a little ego. depositing negative seeds of manifestation into your deep mind. So the work is working as a co-creator with the infinite, always bringing the infinite to mind in everything that you say, think, or do. So you just keep coming back to the same psalm every day. Once a day is fine, until you start to get a sense of peace and certainty about whatever the situation was that brought you to this psalm in the first place. And that peace and that certainty are direct indicators from your deep mind that your spell has been cast and you need do nothing more. In fact, stop doing any work on this matter once you get that sense of peace and certainty, and move on to something else and put it out of mind completely so it can manifest. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.